Hi, everybody. So Jimmie and I are here together, and we're going to be doing our second episode today, and we're really excited. And we're going to talk about the energies. And I just want to give a little snippet of what's been going on with the energies before we really define what we're going to say today. But this last weekend was quite wild, and it really started on Friday. So we came through a really intense push. And every time we have one of these really big pushes, what we're doing is we're clearing out the 3D. So I'm just going to leave it there, and we're going to talk about the 3D and the energies and how everything is basically on a clock. And we're going to talk about that clock here pretty quick. How are you, Jimmie?
I'm doing wonderful, sister. Doing wonderful. Absolutely felt that 9:30ish, 10 o'clock ish Eastern time energy Friday night smashed me all through Saturday, even into Sunday. It was pretty intense. Exciting. We all know some of the more of the crumbling happened over this weekend, which is awesome. The crumbling of the old, which we don't have to give any energy to. But I want to cover first before we get started the things that we're going to cover in this episode. So, the truth about surrender and why releasing control unlocks power, how to know when you're being guided and how to follow it, what's happening in the energetic field this week so you can move in alignment, not resistance, and actually thrive through it. Our personal stories about letting go and walking with spirit. A look at what's happening inside of stepintoyourpower.com this week, including how you can join us for our live on Thursday night on our energy reset, our body energy reset live that we're doing. And then we're going to do closing blessings and invitations. So, sister, it has been an interesting time. I know that when you and I first met, I was talking to you about the great separation and what I thought at first that would be just a relocation of people that were like-minded. But then as the years went on, it became very clear to me that it actually was a split in timelines. And then you informed me, well, that happened already.
Yeah.
And so it's been a wild ride since we talked about that. So it's back over to you, because I know you've got a lot to talk about related to the energy and what's happening and what people need to do to literally thrive through this thing, and not, because a lot of people are having a really hard time with it. I mean, there's things going on in the prayer circle right now where people are asking for prayer based on what's happening to them with the energy, the thoughts and all the stuff, the money, their minds are just running wild. They got millions of thoughts happening.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're clearing out all the junk. And because there was such a hard push, it's kind of all coming up at once. So think about, like, if you went into a hoarder house and you saw all the stuff everywhere, and how are you going to feel? You're going to feel totally overwhelmed. And if you think about our subconscious mind has been basically just filled with 3D information. We're only getting this newer information over the last probably 5 years. I mean, there are a lot of things that maybe we knew anyway, intuitively, and we kind of functioned in a different way than maybe a lot of society, but we still had just piles of 3D information. So that's what this push is for, is to let go of that. I mean, eventually we'll just be speaking telepathically, and we won't even think about what the words are. Like, I keep losing the words. Like, what was that word that describes what I'm trying to say? And it's because they don't really fit anymore. So a lot of these words that we're using, they don't really fit into the feeling that we're trying to describe. But I wanted to talk about the clock a little bit. So astrology and the cycles are what the universe is using to keep pushing things. So we have a new moon coming up on Tuesday, and that's going to be really interesting because that means new energies are going to be introduced. And this solstice energy is going to carry probably through the end of this month and slightly into July.
Wow.
July is going to get softer. Yeah, it'll start to get softer, but it's intense. And I look at astrology like a clock, and I don't really understand it that well. And that's why I bring Kelly on my show to talk about astrology, because she's talking about the energies and the astrology. And that's a precursor, because that's set up for us by the universe. This
Right.
is divinely designed.
Yeah. And, you know, we talk about divine, we don't get into the names here, but I look at it as the point of origin that's always been, always will be. Everything's in and everything's in it. Without it, nobody exists. You can't put a sex on it. You can't put anything on it. It contains everything, and everything that you could imagine and everything that you don't even understand, it contains. So, you know, they're really finding out a lot with quantum computing right now. I mean, there's some stuff going on that's really exciting. But you were talking about astrology, and you know, we entered into Pluto into Aquarius in 2024. And if you go into ChatGPT or Google or any of these large learning models, AIs, and you look at and you ask it, like, what's happened every time Pluto has been in Aquarius, because it stays there like 20 years.
Yeah.
So by the time it leaves, I'm going to be 80 years young. So it stays there for 20 years. And the profoundness that it has on crumbling the old and bringing the new to the front is astronomical. It's happened for, if you just go back and look at the last 2,000 years, and I would love to, you know, have one of our shows in the future on really going through that timeline of those last 2,000 years and exactly what happened when Pluto was in Aquarius. But our viewers, you can go and check it for yourself, and you will not believe the impact it's had. And that's when you're talking about, you know, astrology. You know, the way that the you know the heavens are they're moving and where they're at and the positions that they're in. You know, when I used to tell, you know, my mother that and my grandmother, they go, "That's of the devil, son. That's of the devil." You know, don't talk about astrology. Don't talk about meditation. Don't talk about chakras. Don't talk about karate. Don't talk about those things. That's of the devil. But it's not of the devil. It's of the creator who created all of these things, and especially the universes and the heavens for signs and wonders, and for us to understand where we're currently at. And as these planets shift and move, it affects the earth in a big way, and it affects us. Even like you said, the new moon's coming. Is it the new moon coming?
Yeah, the new moon is coming. And if you think about the universe, so everything up there is a being. The moon that we see is not a being. That's a luminary. So it's not actually, doesn't have a big consciousness, but that's a whole nother subject. However, everything is a being in the universe. So the stars are beings, the planets are beings, everything
Yes.
has consciousness. And they're lending their energy to that moment. So they're playing a part. And our part is to see and interpret the messages that we're getting from the universe. And that's why astrology is there. Like, that's what
Yes.
all that's for. Yeah.
It is for that. And it's interesting because, you know, all the old that's crumbling. I was talking about this on the prayer circle last night, and I got lit up. It was just amazing. The people that are in Circle of Life, over 4,000 people now, very short period of time. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing that's going on in there. But the energy was so intense on that collective prayer guide. I was telling you before we started that my hand, my right hand, literally was not just thumping like this. It had literally had hundreds of points in it that were pulsating. And I'm like, and I can, you know, I wear white a lot. Folks, you'll see me with white on a lot. You know, organic cotton white, because I'm very sensitive to energy. really super sensitive to energy, even colors. Like the last show we had, I had a blue shirt on. I'm buying more white shirts, more 100% organic, because it really, the energy is really hitting me intensely. I'm slowing down. I'm going with the flow. This is one thing that I've been talking about, go with the flow. And then I've heard other people started talking about going with the flow out there, because you have to go with the flow. If you figure like a river, that there's a rapids and people are going with the rapid and they're going fast, and but imagine trying to go against it. You couldn't even do it. And so we have to go with the flow, and we have to, these energies, like you were saying, are bringing things to the surface, whether it's in government, whether it's not in government. Well, it's mostly individual too. Lots of individual stuff. If it's not serving you for your higher self and your ascension, it's coming to the surface for you to deal with it, sister. So can you talk to the folks a little bit about how to deal with that? Because a lot of people, they can't focus and stay in the now. Right. Meaning they're and meditation is great for bringing you into the now, but then all of a sudden you're thinking about, oh, these emails I got to do, and this television thing, and I got to call this person, and I got to do this over here, and I got to do this over here, and oh, this back here, and this over here. And next thing you know, you're living your now is based on your yesterdays and all this other stuff that you're giving your energy to, when you need to take that energy back and focus on the now. Can you talk about that a little bit, sister?
Yeah. So I would funnel the energy out. So here's what's happening. The body is taking in all this information, and information is light. So that's important that you remember that. So all this information's coming in, and the body is becoming overwhelmed because it doesn't think that it can keep up. So first you want to talk to your body and say, yes, you will be okay. You would not be given too much to handle. So the body's not used to all that information coming in, and now we're getting it. And we've been getting it, off and on almost constantly for the last 5 years. But it's really amped up now because it's time to let go of 3D. And a lot of the 3D is installed in our subconscious mind. So it's all coming up, all the programs about what the medical system looks like, how you're supposed to behave in a relationship. All of those kind of things are coming up to the surface to be cleared, because we're actually going to be doing things very differently in the future. So that's part of it. And getting grounded is really important, and asking the excess energy, because it kind of feels like you had a quad shot from the coffee shop. Like, it's
intravenously.
Yeah, you're like so hyped up. And that was actually going on for John and I this morning. And he's like, I feel really weird. I don't know what's going on. And I was hyper too. And I'm on a fast, so I shouldn't be so hyper, right?
Right.
So it's the energy. And if you can ground, if you can ask for any excess energy to funnel out, and you can also ask for the programs that you no longer need to exit your body as energy, so that you're making room for the information that's coming in. And you will have weird thoughts that pop up, sorrows that pop up, bad behaviors that may pop up that you weren't, you're like, I thought I dealt with that years ago. So those kind of things are going to show up right now because it's time to clear them away. And that's what's going on. And it's intense.
When we were looking at the title for this episode, you came up with surrendering to inner guidance. And I think that really, really speaks to the moment we're in, because most people, they keep fighting it.
Yeah.
They don't want to surrender to it. They don't want to go with the flow. They don't want to work on being in the now. They allow their past hurts. And what they don't understand is, every time you're thinking about those, you're rehashing them over and over again, your mind, your body thinks it's happening right then and there, and all those chemicals are releasing. You're getting addicted to all those chemicals, so you keep on doing it, and that's why meditation is so important, to spend that time first thing in the morning, either listening to like the healing frequency music we have, or getting your own music you want to listen to, and just closing your eyes, breathing through your nose, pumping your stomach, breathing out through your mouth, breathing in what you want, putting out what you don't, and really clearing your mind. And when your mind starts to veer back, or your body basically is controlling your mind, your body, from chemical dependency on all of this drama you got going on, and then it shifts back into your mind, and then you got 5 million thoughts going in your mind. You got to shift yourself back. Like when I was in meditation today, I was looking through my window, I could see the blue sky, and I could see the green tree, and I would, when that started happening to me, I would focus on that. I would focus on my breath. I would focus on, the counting the times that I was breathing as I was going through my Tai Chi Gong exercises. And
Mhm.
it's something that all of us deal with. Some of us deal with it more extreme than others, but it is something that you have to work on. And you've got, like, there's things coming up in my business life too. This is a big shift for me again, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just listening, I'm praying, I'm meditating, I'm looking for that discernment and that guidance, which seems to be becoming a lot easier and a lot stronger now. And I'm just doing what I'm being led to do. And I think that, is part of that surrendering to your inner guidance. So talk about that a little bit, because you chose that title, which is spot on in my opinion. Talk about what that means to you.
Yeah. So it means basically, so let's think about what we are first. So we have a human body, right? And you have a human soul that's young, and you have a big soul that is much older. I mean, millennia older. So this is a unique situation. This big soul is only here so that we can help the young soul ascend. I don't think having two souls in a body is normal. And when I ask my higher self, it's like not the norm. So normally you would just have the one. But because we are elevating the human race, we have two. And this is the one that will fight against change, because humans have been taught, oh no, change is scary,
Yeah.
right? So we're breaking that program down right now. And this big soul is who is helping that happen.
And you
And
call that the child soul
the inner
and
child, I call
inner
the
child.
human consciousness, yeah, the inner child. But they're their own soul group. They're young. They were really young when Earth fell into the 3D, and they've been trapped here and taught a lot of bad habits,
Right.
basically. And the biggest one is that they need somebody else to show them the way, which they're learning how to be their own sovereign being. And your big soul is also, I mean, we're here. This is our main purpose. We're here to ascend the human part of us.
Yes.
And we're doing it, and we're being kinder and better with our inner child than we've ever been before, because we have come in and out and tried to do ascension. I mean, ascension has been attempted over and over again. So basically, the surrender is the inner child allowing the big soul to actually guide, because the big soul has been floating around the universe doing all kinds of things, having all kinds of experiences, and the inner child has been stuck on earth for the last probably 300,000 years, if you believe in time. So this little being is being freed right now. And they're beautiful because they encompass all the different great points that all the soul groups have. So you have like angelics and architects and dragons and elementals and ETs. all of them are represented within the human race.
Wow. I
Yeah.
mean, it is such an exciting time to be alive. I know a lot of people are afraid, but I would say to them, do not focus on the crumbling. Let
Mm,
the crumble crumble. Let the old fall away so that we focus on the new. We're focusing on the new now. You know, I had seen a comment in Step Into Your Power from a sister there. She was talking about she's waiting to do anything until the RV comes or the Jasara thing comes. And I'm like, you know, I commented back very nice and lovingly. That's her journey. That's what she wants to do. But my opinion is, do not wait for anything to step into your power and to work on you and your connection with the divine, because the source, the creator, you know, that's always been and always will be, because it's so important for
mhm.
you. And now manifestation, like we talked about last week, is accelerated. Whether you're thinking good or bad, manifestation is happening so much faster now than it was before. You know, what's your thoughts? Give your input again on that for the folks that didn't hear what you said last week. But you know, about is manifestation going to continue to accelerate? I mean, like,
Yeah. Yeah, my higher self says absolutely. So it will get faster and faster. And if you think about it now, like we're clearing things and we're creating and we're thinking about things, and then they'll happen maybe an hour later, some of them. If we think they're a big deal, then they take longer. And that's because of our perception. Like,
right,
if, yeah. So if you thought it was like, oh, $1 million is a big deal, then it
right,
is going to take longer. If you thought it was 5 cents that you pick up on the sidewalk, then it would happen a lot
very
faster for you.
quickly.
So those things are really accelerated. And a lot of it is negative too. Like if you're in a negative loop, like we talked about gossip in the car the other day, and drama and the behavior of drama, and how it's kind of there's a certain age group that's really been taught how to use drama as a weapon, kind of. And man, we got to see that like 2 hours later. And that's what's happening. And did we get sucked into it? No, but we could have,
Right.
but we got to see the example of it because we were talking about it. We attracted it.
You attract it.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't understand that, you know, you're made in the image of the divine creator. So you are creating, you know, one of the things I tell folks too is everything in your life is your responsibility 100%. There's nothing in your life, good or bad, that is not 100% your responsibility. That's good news, though. That means you can change it by changing your thoughts and being in the now and not worrying about yesterday. I was telling my story on the Collective Prayers live last night about my childhood, and you know how I found out at 17 and a half years old that my father was sexually and physically abused by my grandfather. Now, and by the way, Brother Jimmie might be getting enlightened here very quickly from the window. So I'm not ascending out of my chair yet, but sometimes I feel like I am. But you know, I found that out. You know, my father was reliving his childhood through me, and meaning I had to play every sport from baseball to football to wrestling. I mean, working out 5 days a week. I mean, I was just a beast. I mean, you know, my father was living, and this was a guy that was the Golden Glove champion in Canton, Ohio, 2 years in a row, boxed in the Navy, and I didn't know anything about this until I was 17 years old, when me and him were getting ready to come to blows, and because I was saying like, I'm done, I'm a man, you ain't gonna be touching me no more. But you know, before he died at 54 years old, him and I were the best friends. And once I understood, because you never know what the other person went through.
Mhm.
And when you hold on to that hurt, who does it hurt? Well, it hurts you.
Mhm.
You got to let it go for yourself. You got to live in the now and know that you are meant for greatness. It's like what you said, Sister Honey. You know, I'll give a little story here and I'll pass it back over to you. But Cindy and I, for her 58th birthday, I think her 58th birthday, 58 years young. We were in Dominican Republic, and we decided we were going to go. Her cousin Jasmine. And this is about manifestation. Back then, it was a few years ago. It's going to be 3 years. It's going to be 3 years this month in August. So we went to Las Terrenas, and we stayed only for a day and a half, 2 days. And I said to her as we were driving through it, I said, "Oh, we're going to live here. We're gonna have a place here." And she said, "Oh yeah, we are." And within a year, we owned a place in there. And so it wasn't. I didn't talk about where's the money, or what's this going to happen, or what's that. I just said, we're going to own a place here, and that happened. And the manifestation of everything is happening quicker than I've ever seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
I have to mind my mind. I have to watch my words. One thing I am working on, sister, is my patience. I'm a guy that I put things, task them out, and boom, 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 knock them down, retask, knock them down, prioritize. That's the way I've been for decades. And what I'm learning from this right now, through this energy, is my higher self, which, by the way, it's connecting with me more and more clearly than it's ever done in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Slow down, Jimmie.
Yeah.
Slow down. Take it easy. If you don't want to get up at 5 o'clock and you're still feeling tired, get up later. You're not on a clock. Just take it easy. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. You did a wonderful recording last night that I played on the Collective Prayers Live, where you had people hug themselves.
Yeah.
And so there was some, now we're starting to get some men into Step in Your Power, which is very exciting.
Really good.
We have
Yeah.
we have a lot of sisters in there, and they're just beautiful people. And they're leaders. The women are leaders. There's no ifs and buts about it. And when you listen to the real creation story, women had a big role in it.
Oh, yeah.
Female, the female side of the equation had a big role in it. And now we're starting to get men in there. Then I was seeing and listening as we were going through your breathing and hugging and putting your hand on the heart and all of that. I was, seeing, because I had my eyes just like where I could, blur. And I was seeing this gentleman, he was a little, resistant about loving himself. And whether you're a male or a female, and I believe we've been both in many reincarnations, but you should love yourself. You're going to love yourself not more than the divine loves you, but you should be loving yourself second most. And how important, because like right now we've got the new moon coming in tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of other, you're saying that the summer solstice, which by the way, I'm still feeling that energy. And you said that energy is going to roll out into next month, maybe.
Yeah. Well, on top of it is the new moon. So all of that,
That's wonderful.
combined. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of energy that is really affecting everybody's body. And if you think about it, your mind is connected to your body, your subconscious mind. And it kind of lives outside of you a little bit, but it's very connected. And it's the recording, it's the hard drive of your computer. It's got all the information from your entire life. And a lot of your information isn't very fun. So it's coming up to the surface to be cleared and for us to be saying, let's let it go now.
Yeah.
I'm ready to step into something more fun, something new, where I'm actually creating my world, my life, because you're capable of that. We've been doing it all along. We've just been doing it with bad information.
Right.
Yeah. So let's make way for the good information. Really.
Well,
yeah.
we've all done a lot of crazy stuff in our youth.
Mm-hmm.
We have to forget. I am definitely protected by the divine, because if not, I would have been gone through my youth with no if and buts about it with the crazy nonsense I did. There's just no way I would have survived it without having a higher purpose. It just, it would never happen. But you got to forgive yourself for that stuff. And like you said, just let it go. All of this stuff that's coming up doesn't mean it's here to judge you. It's
Or here
here
to
to be
stay.
released
Yeah.
from you. It's here for you to acknowledge and release, and let it go so that you truly can step into your power. Because right now, what I'm seeing, and I feel the same way you do, sister, is that we have a lot of people that are I think we're further along than they thought we would be
We
with
are.
the awakening. I feel that
Mhm.
we're further along than I thought we would be. But I also know that a lot of people are not even close to where they need to be. And I was picking some things up today that some of us will ascend faster than others. And
Yeah.
some people will be here for a longer period of time, stuck into a 3D situation, as this situation continues to accelerate. What we're in right now, you're saying, is a 5D situation, the frequency, because the Schumann resonance is like bonkers. I mean, I've never
Oh,
seen the
yeah.
Schumann resonance like this in my entire life. And I've been watching it for a long time. And it just, and most people don't even know what it is. And they can look that up on Google or, in Chat GPT or whatever. But it has a big thing to do with the way it affects the people on this planet. Just like the full
Mhm.
moon or the new moon, if you go to an ER in a hospital, or you go to the police station and ask them the effects of a full moon or a new moon, they tell you it fills them up, because people kind of lose it. They kind of go a little wacky. And the Schumann resonance we're tied into that frequency. And
Yeah.
Mother Earth's ascending, whether people want to or not. So, it's better not to force something. It's better to just let it flow. Wouldn't
Mhm.
you think? Just let it flow and breathe through it, meditate through it, go out in nature, hug some trees, get into the water. I definitely miss my ocean. Get into the water, get, out there in nature, get with some animals. And it's so important for people to take care of their nervous system. What do you advise for people for gentle guidance to regulate the nervous system? Because the nervous system is big time.
Yeah. The nervous system is changing right now. So it's very connected to the digestion. So I would take care of your digestion. That's important. There is a fight or flight area that you can rub. So in between the ring and the pinky finger, you can rub in there in between those bones. Okay, so we had a little interruption there, but basically, if you're having issues with your fight or flight, with your nervous system, you can rub in between the bones that go on your hand in between these two fingers, so the ring finger and the pinky finger, and that will basically reset the fight or flight. You can work with your meridians. I highly recommend that. Get a reflexology chart. Get a pair of socks that have your reflexology points on them and rub on your digestion and your nervous system. So, work on those things. And there's a lot of different things you can do. Somatic exercises, exercise in general will help, and sun gazing and grounding and all of those things. But your digestion is directly connected to your nervous system at the moment, and they're both shifting. So be kind to your body right now. And I really don't want to eat as much as I have been. Today I'm fasting. Those kind of things. Don't be afraid to step out of your box a little bit and see if something will work for you. But also don't push yourself too much either.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that about the nervous system and in the the gut, right? They say the second brain,
Mm-hmm.
because I've watched my beautiful wife Cindy having all these issues with the gut, and not only her, but a lot of other brothers and sisters in Step Into Your Power. are having issues with their gut. And it is because of this energy. Like right now, we had this little glitch and we lost the internet there for a second. Well, even electronics, if you've noticed, with these energies, have been having glitches left and right. There've been glitches in electronics and software and Microsoft and Facebook. All of them are having glitches right now. And it is the energy. Energy affects technology. It
Yeah.
affects technology just like it affects our energy body and our biology and our matter body. So it's an interesting time to be alive and to participate in this. One of the things I would say, all of those things that you said are very important. You know, all the energy clearing. We have a whole list, and I'll show it here in a few minutes. We have a whole list of what's called practice. It's a practice portal in Step Into Your Power under the Power Portal. And we have affirmations, we have guided affirmation meditations, we have meditations, we have energy clearing techniques like
Mhm.
salt baths and all of that. Visualize energy clearing, like grounding yourself, getting a grounding mat also maybe from Amazon. You really got to work on your energy hygiene right now, don't you think, Sister Honey?
Yeah, it's really big, the energy hygiene. And that's why we created this platform, is for ascension. And that's why it's free too. So we've done a lot of hard work to make sure that you guys have a lot of access to a lot of different tools right now. Because tools are kind of where it's at. Like, how am I going to do this? Because this is going on with my body, or this is going on with my emotions. And the hygiene is really important. And it's something that nobody has ever taught anyone how to do.
Right.
And now we're learning how to do it together. And I think there's been a little bit here and there, but it's been very conventional. And we're clearing basically all of the past that's happened in this universe right now. So we've got a lot of stuff that we've been doing, clearing your soul's traumas, your genetic traumas, like all of that stuff. And it's been really big and very intense. And we're kind of coming to a point where it's going to get a lot easier, which I'm excited for.
I'm very excited for that too. I'm very excited for that too. And you know what's exciting to see too is certain people, certain folks coming in to step in your power, their background too. I mean, you've got a lot of people that are just waking up, but you have people that are expanding and overflowing. And it's really exciting to see that we're bringing, and then in between, and it's exciting that the divine's bringing all these people into this portal, this
Yeah.
step into your power spiritual portal, for us to congregate, pray for each other, send energy to each other, give all of those tools that you talked about. Tools are very important. I tell people in business training, I say to them, information without implementation is meaningless.
Right.
So you can have all the information in the world on anything, any topic, but if you don't implement it, it isn't going to do you any good. And you have to implement it. And this is what I was telling folks about. We had been talking about the healing frequencies too, because I've been playing them off the chain. I got my speakers right underneath here, but you'll see me looking up once in a while because I tell you that this monitor is like, it's 55-inch gain monitor. I can turn it sideways, and I'm like roasted in here sometimes between the big server in the back and this thing. But I've got those speakers right there. And in the morning, I'm playing 963 hertz. In the afternoon, I'm playing 528 hertz. And at night, I'm playing 432 hertz. And even if you can listen to it for 30 minutes while you're working on something or doing something, it helps you. Just like, going in and getting into a bathtub and putting, the salt in there, like the sea salt in there, and
Yeah.
soaking in there, or using a sea salt scrub, in the shower every day. You have to really focus right now on your energy hygiene, don't you feel?
Yeah. The energetic hygiene, and also being kind to your body and talking to your inner child about, okay, well, you're not feeling so great. So, how can we help our body function better? And also talking to the body itself and saying, let's let go of the old stuff so we can let the new stuff in. Because the new stuff coming in, all those new light codes and everything, that's what's upsetting the body. But the body is stuck in a rut. We have to remember that the subconscious mind is like a record, multiple records, like a whole record store. And a lot of those records, we've been digging the groove deeper and deeper over time.
Yeah.
And it's time to get rid of a lot of those records.
Yeah. I was glad when you were looking at my records that I only had that patient thing hanging out there. And I figured I shouldn't be too bad because I've been doing this for a long time. And by the way, again, the sun is on me and I love it, by the way. I love looking at the sun, like you're talking about sun gazing. But, patience is an important thing also. And it's not that I'm not, I was telling people last night, I'm a human, I'm a spirit having a human experience. But I'm
Right.
also a person minding my mind also. I'm also a person, dealing with similar things that they're dealing with. And one of the things I wanted to talk about, I'll give a little story about something, about letting go, having faith, knowing that the divine has something better for you and letting go of the old to make room for the new. This year is about that in my life personally, because I'm coming into my last year of a 9-year cycle, which has probably been the most prosperous cycle in my entire life. But what's getting ready to happen on as far as stewardship goes,
Mm-hmm.
stewarding stuff. And I seen a couple comments in our last video, people talking about, oh, you shouldn't talk about money. Christ was rich, by the way, very wealthy.
He's a prince. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a prince. So, you don't have to, you're not supposed to love money and, you attract it, you utilize it for what you're supposed to utilize it for. I believe, and I know Sister here does believe too, that eventually we won't need money
Mm-mm.
and we'll all be having food, water, shelter, energy, all the necessities, and we'll all be able to work together. As robot, they're talking about 40% of people not having jobs by 2027. So wait, hold on. 2027, 40% losing their jobs to AI and robotics. That's 18 months from now. I
Yeah.
don't think people understand the shift that we're going through. Where robotics and AI are going to make cost of things so cheap, it's ridiculous. And as we harness the sun, not through solar power, but actually harness the true power of the sun, energy is going to be at almost no cost.
Right.
And as the new technology, the suppressed technology comes out, where you've got frequency machines like what we do with Body Align, where we have frequency formulations that help the body align itself and keep it strong, and you've got these frequency equipment out there that people can lay in. Some people call them med beds or whatever, but that rifle's been out there for a long time. They took that guy out back when, but you've got these frequencies. They're finding out that now they're treating people with light. They're treating people with frequency, red light and frequency, and it's just amazing things are happening for people. I mean, we're in a very exciting time. I mean, a really super exciting time, and we've got to let this old stuff go. And we can't
Yeah.
put our energy into this crumbling. It's like my son, I love him to death, Michael. Dad, did you hear about what happened on Saturday? I'm like, I don't care. What do you mean? I don't care. I don't care about the crumbling. I'm focused on the new. I want to give my energy to the new. I don't want to give my energy to past things. I don't want to give my energy to all of this noise going on. I want to give my energy, which is my right, to the good, to the light. And I feel that the folks like yourself and others out there that have been doing this for years, decades, in some case multiple decades, they're the reason, of course the divine is, but them putting in that effort is the reason that we haven't went down a really dark path,
Mhm.
I mean, a really dark path, because we're creating, you said this the other day, we're creating we're bringing this ascension in, we're bringing this energy. And you said something about, this energy will stop when we want it to stop. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, when we allow for things to calm down and when we let go, then it will just keep shifting and we will calm down and things will be more beautiful. You create every single thing in your individual life. So you're creating your computer, which is why maybe Jimmy's energy was really intense today and maybe his internet went out because of that. Maybe somebody in his neighborhood did it, you know, but energy is everywhere and it creates everything. So your computer resonates at a different frequency than your car, and your body resonates at a different frequency than the wall or the house. Everything is just a different frequency. And we know how to make those things subconsciously because we came in with that knowledge. And we've been fooled into thinking that we don't know how to do it, but we actually do. And we're doing it all the time. So just being in knowing that you're the creator is really important. And I feel like I lost the plot with that conversation, though. You did ask me another question.
Well, no, we have brought these energies into reality based on us attracting them.
Oh, yeah.
And you have said that, these energies will slow down once we are ready for them to slow down.
Right.
But, we've manifested this situation with the sun, with the earth, with the central sun divine. We're getting hit by this trifecta right now.
Oh, yeah.
And and we've manifested that. The light workers, the people of the divine have manifested this,
Mm-hmm.
along with, if people don't think we've got other, you know uh, beings living with us, we do. We have angels, like you said, we've got all kinds of beings. I mean, this is, what would all these universes be for? What would all these planets be for? What, we're the only planet in the whole freaking existence that has life on it? I don't think so. I got in trouble for that when I used to bring that up in Sunday school. They gave me, I don't know if I ever got my hand smacked with a ruler, but they surely wanted to smack my hand.
Oh,
um,
yeah.
but at the end of the day, we've got to surrender to all of this stuff that isn't serving us anymore. Even myself, I've got things going on in business right now where I'm shifting things around, I'm reorganizing things because, I've been told very clearly by the divine, like my story about March, that step into your power and what we're doing together with the sacred projects and all the stuff that's going to be happening within that portal, that I'm going to have to put at least 50% of my time on it. So, with me having to dedicate 50% of my time or more, I have to shift things around. And I'll catch myself thinking about, even though I know exactly what I need to do already, because I've got the download, my higher self speaks to me exactly what I need to do. I catch myself revisiting it, like revisiting it. And there's no reason to revisit it because I already know the implementation of it. But that's
Yeah.
what we do as human beings. We keep on dwelling on the same thing over and over again and again when we do not need to. We just have to have faith and surrender, surrender with the spirit inside of us, and just let it go and have trust.
Right.
Have trust. I mean, I've done that in my life where I've had things that went on that I didn't want to let go, specific businesses and partnerships. And I was holding on to them and holding on to them and holding on to them. And my wife, even though she'll say that, hey, she's waking up, her intuition is pretty extreme. And she would say, well, if you don't do this and let this go, that's not going to happen. And, there was a situation where we had a business partner in the energy wellness company named Michael. I won't say his last name. And my wife kept telling me for years, you got to let this guy go. He's bad energy. He's no good for the business. You got to let him go. Just let him go. Let him move on. He's holding you back. As soon as we let him go, we did $10 million in sales in 1 year. So it's amazing what is on the other side of letting go and just surrendering to it, and having belief and faith that the divine's got your back.
Right.
What's your thoughts about that, sister?
Well, for one thing that we need to remember is money is energy. Yes. So you're also creating that in your life. And you can create lack, or you can create money, or you can create abundance in a different way, But I think there's been a big program about money in general, that it's dirty, and that people are supposed to be starving artists or starving healers or starving this or whatever. And so anybody that was trying to do the things that are basically going to be the biggest things that happen in the world, which is going to be art and community and all the good things that we do together and the healing and all of that stuff, those are the things that actually matter. And they were all suppressed. So now they're all going to bust out. And surrendering, for me, I'll talk about something that happened when we were back in the 3D, and we're not there anymore. But I really wanted a new job. And this was years and years ago. And I was managing in a grocery store, and I was in the cash room, and I was counting all the money and balancing all the books. And I was so annoyed by this job. And I said to my higher self, or God at that time, because I didn't really have a definition. And I said, listen, I asked you already to get rid of this job for me and find me a new job. Where is it? And I basically had like this very rude conversation with God. And a week later, I had an interview for a new job.
There you go.
And it paid twice as much. So really, you guys, like, just surrender, because I let go. As soon as I did that, I was like, okay, I'm going to let you do it, and I will pay attention.
Yes.
And it came in, and that's the hard way to do it. Like, that's the 3D way. Now it's just love and expectation and release. The release is the hardest part, I think, for humanity, because we've gotten so used to micromanaging ourselves and others. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a thing with micromanaging others and ourselves. Christ said, how about getting the log out of your eye before you go over there and get the splinter out of your brother and sister's eye there. A lot of us, we're looking at that splinter in other people's eyes, but we're not looking at the log in our own. And we just got to release it. We've got to have faith and believe that we're here for a reason. We're here for a destiny, a purpose, a very big purpose, not a small purpose. Some people never achieve that purpose because they don't let go. They aren't willing to let the old fall, and just with gratitude, the attitude of gratitude is a wonderful vibration. And having that attitude of gratitude, I remember having somebody in the circle of life where this gentleman had lost his wife, his business was like crumbling, all of that stuff was going. And I said to him, instead of asking, thank as you already have it. Give gratitude as it's already yours. And I'm telling you, within 12 months, this guy's business went tenfold. His life changed just by implementing that. Being grateful for what you have and giving gratitude for what you want as you already have it. Just like what you did. You got pissed. You got pissed and you were like, hey, I want out of this job. What's up? Right. And, in a week, you had a new interview. So if we do not think that angels and soul families and the divine is watching us, little old us, when we ain't little, we're powerful, but I'm just using that analogy, we're mistaken, because all of us are being cared for and watched and protected. And these light beings, these angels, the divine wants the best for us, just like you got a job that doubled your money. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty, incredible, right? I materialized a house with my wife Cindy in a year of a place we went to for a day and a half, 2 days on her
Mhm.
58th birthday. This stuff is real and it's speeding up. And again, the love of money, when you worship money, that's not a good thing. But
No.
money is energy, and utilizing it to do good, to help with what we're doing. Like Sister Honey said, that step into your power, and I'm going to show you that here, and then we'll get into our close of this episode. But that step into your power, you can go from waking up to expanding with all the tools you need in between to make that happen for zero,
Yeah.
except your time, for no money, except your time. And I keep on getting the feedback, millions and millions and millions of people into step into your power, and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of guides around the world, spiritual communities in the thousands popping up all over this planet, anchoring the light, community gardens, self-sufficiency, healing, energy healing, all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm putting my time and my energy into. I'm not looking about what China's doing or the United States is doing or any of that crumbling that's happening.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to let that play out like it plays out. I'm going to keep my energy focused on these type of things that we're talking about right here. So I'm going to go in real quick, Sister Honey, and I'm going to show where people can get access to
Okay.
our event this week and a couple things real quick. And then, of course, you can see underneath our names is stepinyourpower.com. You can go there and join for free. Let me go ahead and pop this up. Hopefully, there will be no um, energy energy confusion here.
Yeah.
So here's the past events we've had. You can see we did the collective prayer live on yesterday. If you click on it in the comments, I always put here, watch replay now. Also, I'll show you where we have all the replays, so you can always find it in the comments of any of these. Our Ascension Mastery is a planned program that we have for guides, putting guides together. But we have 3 different lives per month that we do for free, and we put them back here. The Collective Prayer Live, the portal is open, and also the one that we're going to do this Thursday, which is the Energy Body Reset. So those 3 every month are free. They cost you nothing. Everything in the Power Portal here, and again, how you'll learn about it is you go begin here. You take an hour of your life, whether you break it up in 10-minute segments, 15-minute segments, or if you've really got that desire, you actually spend the whole hour doing it, depending on you. And you go through this and you learn. Now, this is a beautiful 7-day guided affirmation Brother Brad did, but I'm talking about everything besides that is about an hour and 10 minutes of your time. And that will teach you how to utilize all these portals. And when you go in, you've got the circle, which is all the other folks in here, like Sister Honey, Brother Brad, myself, my son Tommy. You have the chat here going back and forth. People are posting positive things. People are loving on people. We have the live gatherings here. Those recordings are going back in here. There's our first recording that we ever did when we did our soft launch. Here's the one that we just did last week. So you can always find the recordings there. You can go to the prayer circle. You can request prayers. People are requesting prayer. People are requesting prayer. And guess what's happening? Prayer is getting answered. Prayer is getting answered. You go to collective prayers, you go to recordings, you can see the first 2 lives that we've had. And if you're part of Ascension Mastery because you want to be a guide, you want to be somebody that is giving from overflow, you want to start working on putting a spiritual community together, well, you've got all your energetic updates under resources, and we have all of the stuff back here too. So In here, the prayer circle, the sacred solutions, the sacred support, the power portal, all of that costs you nothing. Nothing. And you can learn about these portals here. Again, this is a beautiful 7-day guided meditation, affirmation meditation that everyone should do. Brother Brad infused it with Reiki healing, and we have frequency music in here under the practice portal. You've got all of these daily affirmations. You got all of these affirmation meditations. You've got all of these guided meditations. You got all of this energy clearing techniques. You got your journal and workbooks, how to build them out. You've got healing frequency music. You've got everything you need to move through the seeker stages, which, by the way, when you come in here, you go to seeker stage quiz, and you can see over 138 comments. There's thousands of people in here, over 4,000 people now. And you can see, go through this and be honest with yourself and answer these questions and see where you're at. And wherever you're at, well, start here. And we've got people, you can read these comments. We got people that started here, and because they've been using these tools, they're moving forward. They're moving forward. So, I am so excited to be involved with you and Brother Brad and my son Tommy and all these other people that are coming into the mix now that are ready to be guides. They're joining Ascension Mastery, preparing to be guides. And it's really exciting. I mean, it's really exciting time to be alive. And I know a lot of people are afraid, but I go to bed and I sleep really well, besides all the dreams I'm having. But I sleep really well. I wake up refreshed. I mean, the energy's been intense, but I breathe through it. I meditate through it. I ground through it. I, work on my energy hygiene. I work on, reading my energy field. Before we close this today, Sister Honey, can you talk a little bit about, what they need to do the rest of this week? Because I know me and you will be doing these on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also, putting them up on YouTube. We're creating shorts. You're going to see a lot of shorts coming out. We're going to get these out all over the place. And our goal is to show you folks how much we love you. And the information is very valuable that we're giving you here publicly, so you can come and join the community for free and step in your power and become the person that you were destined to be, what you're here for. Back to you, sister.
So I want to talk a little bit about the power of intention. So why I joined Jimmie and Brad and Tommy was because of their intention, where their intention came from their heart and what they were trying to create, right? So that's why I'm doing it. My intention is for it to flourish and do amazingly well, and for people to really be nourished there energetically. But the intention, I want you to think about what your intentions are for your own life. Think about that. What do I want my life to feel like? And then look at the things that you're doing in your life and see what doesn't work with your intention right now. And that will help you let go of the things that are no longer relevant for this new density, this new frequency that we're in, the 5D, basically. So a lot of us maybe are even starting to vibrate into 6D at this point, like into the 6th dimension. Sometimes we're getting, further up even. But the reason that prayer works is because of intention. Because Jimmie is in there and he's intending and he's asking for other people to intend that someone gets well or someone is okay or their situation gets resolved. This isn't about religion.
No.
This is about intention. And what do you intend for your life and for the world? And if you write those things down and then look at what is not working in your own life and start to peel those away, that is change. And you're,
Yes.
yeah. So I would do that. That'd be a great exercise for right now, because that's what we're doing energetically. And if you can do it consciously too, fantastic.
Well, we know meditation is powerful when 5 people can go into a city and meditate and drop crime tremendously. We
Mhm.
know prayer, we're not talking about, I'm working on my book right now. It's not religion, it's relationship. And I know you're working on a book too, sister. And
Yeah.
both these books will probably be out in the, third or fourth quarter. But I'm going to get a lot of, I'm sure, a lot of controversy from mine, and it's okay because I'm ready to handle it. But at the end of the day, when I pray, and I do want to close this with a prayer to the divine creator. When I say divine creator, that's the point of origin. That's always been, always will be. Everything's in it. It's in everything. Without it, nothing would exist. It'd just be nothing. There'd be nothing. Okay.
Right.
You want to give it a name, give it a name. It's got thousands of them. Okay. In the Tao, it talks about you can't even give it a name because it's so beyond our comprehension of the power. You
Mhm.
can't even say power. None of these names even come close to what it is.
Right.
Okay. And so as we continue to get, more connected to our higher self, our oversoul, as more of our DNA gets activated, more of this information comes to us and we learn more and more about it. Right. But is it good to close with a prayer today for
Yeah.
all our brothers and sisters?
That would be wonderful.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to say this prayer. I come to you, divine creator, and I thank you for this sacred space of remembrance. Thank you for the hearts listening and the healing already in motion. We release the grip of control and return to the guidance within. Let every person's hearing this feel the peace of surrender and the strength of trust. We walk in rhythm with you, not the world. We breathe in alignment with spirit, anchor our steps, strengthen our hearts, make clear our next movement. I declare and decree this in your name, and I thank you for it. Amen.
Mm.
That's not about religion, folks. It's about declaring, decreeing. And when Sister Honey proved to you, she did that. When she got pissed and she was done with her job, she kind of declared a decree that she wanted this other job, and within a
Yep.
week she had it. So this has happened to me so many times in my life. I know it's happened to her. It's happened to so many other people. But we really love you all a lot, and we want you to join us in the stepinyourpower.com. You don't have to do anything with pulling anything out of your wallet or out of your credit card or your debit card. Nothing. Okay. You just come on in, let us love on you, let us pray for you, be part of a community, share it. I mean, we've had people talking about suicide, they had suicidal thoughts in there. I was like, oh, this brother needs prayer. There are people opening their hearts in there.
Mhm.
And that's the first step. You got to have people that you can talk to. You got to have people that you can be around, and you can feel the energy in there, sister. You can feel the energy in there. It's incredible. I mean, it's incredible.
It's beautiful in there. And the next phase for everybody is coming together as our soul tribe and collaborating.
Yes.
So we're going to be collaborating, and this is a great place to start because you're going to meet people in your own area,
Yes.
and you're also going to meet people that you'll probably travel to see. So, and it's all focused on spirituality and who you really are versus all the noise that's going on the outside world, which basically we're just letting it collapse. It's part of a movie that we want to speed up, basically. So I think it's absolutely a wonderful thing to be doing with your downtime, is to go and talk to people who really want a lot of the same things that you do. And the main thing they want is for humanity to succeed.
100%. And
Yeah.
if you go in there and you love on people, you pray for people, you comment with them, all of that, you get what you give. So give the love, you get the love. Give, and you get. And that's either negative or positive, but stay focused on giving. I don't sit here and look at TikTok and all that. I'm in the community. I'm loving on people. I'm commenting on people because I'm giving. And you'll see that Sister Honey's giving. We got a lot of people in there giving, and that's what you need to be. You need to be a part of that. And just like she said, we're going to have a lot of stuff for projects all over this world, and we're going to have spiritual communities popping up all over the place. I plan on having one in the Dominican Republic in Las Terrenas. I'm freaking super excited about it. And we have other people. We had a sister on last night that has 250 acres of land right up in Canada, and she's looking out her window at a pyramid. I mean, it's just, I was looking at her. She was, her back was a log cabin wall, and I was like asking her, and she said that. I mean, we just got so many beautiful people coming in, and more will come in. And then this system starts pairing up. Okay, these are close to you, and like you said, some we'll have these different retreats and get-togethers and meetups and all of that stuff. So I'm going to let you close this out, sister. Okay.
So just think about what's going on inside your body this rest of this week. Take care of yourself and remember that you love you. No matter what kind of blemishes you think or traumas you think have affected you, start letting them go and really think about the intention that you have for the rest of your life. Because you guys, it's getting more and more beautiful all the time. And if you let that beauty in, your whole life is going to change. And that's what these energies are for. So we love you guys. We hope you have a fabulous afternoon or evening whenever we post this. Okay.
Love you very much. Take care.
Bye.